My name is John Doyle. I'm Director of the Institute for International Conflict Resolution and Reconstruction in Dublin City University. The Institute for International Conflict Resolution is a team of about 65 people, but evenly divided between doctoral researchers and academic staff. And it looks at quite a broad range of areas around conflict resolution and reconstruction, from law to politics, to history, educational reform in post-conflict settings. My own particular work is on peace processes, why they work and more often why they don't. And there's a team of about 12 of us working in that area in Ireland, in our own experience, the post-Soviet region and in South Asia. Over the years, I've been involved in hosting an incoming fellow in a IRSCS, a staff exchange program. But the largest program, the one I'm currently coordinating, is a Marie Curie ITN, an initial training network focused on doctoral training. DCU is the coordinator in that project, myself along with two colleagues, Dr. Eileen Connolly and Dr. Donegal-Bacon. I first heard about the Marie Curie Actions in about 2007-08 when a colleague who was then in Kazakhstan was inquiring about coming back to Europe through the International Incoming Fellowships. He eventually applied for that and he was hosted doing work on the colour revolutions in DCU and eventually stayed in DCU as was successful in getting a tenured position as lecturer. The incoming fellow was interesting. It fitted in with the research that was going on in DCU at the time, particularly around democratic transitions in Central Europe, why they worked in some cases and why in other cases they were unsuccessful and indeed remain so to the coming day. That then, I suppose, gave us an insight into the schemes and a foothold, a new colleague who was interested in the area. And so then we applied in 2010, I think, for the first time for an ITN on doctoral fellowships. And that was a consortium of 6 universities from the region, including Tallinn and Warsaw, ourselves in Dublin City University, and St Andrews and Bremen in Germany, are now running that project. We started in May 2013 and we'll go through for 4 years. The core group was people I'd worked with before. So I suppose those people I trusted, I knew they would deliver, the quality would be high, the research would be excellent. And then that group sort of teased out the project. Dublin City University was the coordinating organisation. And then among ourselves, we had a broader network of people where one or more of us had worked with, but not all the group. And then we chose a number of partners. So everyone that we asked to join was a group or a research group or an institution that we'd worked with before. We didn't do any cold calling, and I'd certainly strongly advise against it. We started in May 2013, and then we recruited 14 PhD students across the partnerships, 4 of them in Dublin City University. So the first, I suppose, couple of months we're teasing out the research proposals, the recruitment process. Students are required to be internationally mobile, so you're not recruiting people already in your home country. And also you're trying to get a balance of topics, gender balance, interesting disciplines across the 14. So even though each university recruits their own students under their own criteria, informally you need to sort of be in touch with each other right through that process. And the supervisory board during that first 4 months is really focused on recruitment. We were absolutely delighted. We got a huge number of applications. In most countries, the scholarships, salaries are very attractive by national standards. So you get really top quality students. We decided to focus in DCU on the Caucasus region. That was our subset of the post-Soviet state. And so we 4 students working on different aspects of foreign policy, conflict, gender and politics in that region. And so that gives real coherence between the supervisors, the PIs and the students. It's really built up a really good cluster in that area. In spring 2014, we had the first sort of full-on international workshop. So we brought together the 14 PhD students and about 20 staff, their supervisors and other experts from within the consortium and outside. A week-long, very intensive, locked in one room engagement on the politics of the region, the students' projects. Every student presented their PhD work to date and got critique from some of the biggest names in Europe, from people working in very similar areas, and from left field of different perspectives and disciplines that they hadn't thought about. I think that in some ways was really exhilarating, to sort of have that time, which is a real luxury, just to do what in some ways is your core reason you became an academic in the first place, is the focus on that intellectual endeavour. And you couldn't have done that without the Marie Curie supports. To bring that number of people together for a week with the resources covered and people having the time and the space to buy into it, that's been the highlight to date. One of the big benefits of a Marie Curie ITN is that it allows you to develop a larger team Typically in social sciences, you're relying on small grants funding 1 or 2 PhD students at a time, or a small bit of travel grant. Marie Curie ITN allows you to bring together 15 PhD students on a broad topic. So the one in Dublin City University at the moment is working on tensions in the post-Soviet region, a huge area. So you want to tease out different aspects of it, different parts of the former Soviet Union, and bring together those 15 students, their supervisors and other scholars over a prolonged 4-year period. That's a really tremendous benefit the ITN brings you. In terms of my direct experience of ETNs and the PhD doctoral programme, I think they're a really exciting opportunity to create something benefit, and I would strongly recommend colleagues to do it. The standards are very high, the competition is fairly hot, so it needs to be a good proposal. You need to have a good team. It's not something to be thrown in lightly, but the benefits if you're successful are really good.